Hi, welcome back to May Influence You. I have Tina, my best friend, here today with me, which I'm so excited.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of us. Dating after divorce is always hard. And so I thought I would have Tina come on and kind of tell us a little bit about her dating experiences and let us know what it's like after a divorce. You get out there and start dating. I know it gets overwhelming and it's difficult for a lot of people. And what has your experience been so far?
I actually haven't had a lot of bad experiences, which is good. I've met a lot of really good people, some crazy ones, but not really. I think I just get along well with a lot of people, so it makes it easier. I think one thing I have learned is that, I've been on a few dates where I just will go out to dinner or whatever, and then they'll be like, hey, do you want to go do this? So we'll just go be random.
Sure.
And then later, I'm pretty open about how I feel about somebody. Yeah. So I'll just tell them, I don't really see us, being together.
Because you are so good at that. Yeah. I would be like, somebody asked me out, and I'm like...
It took me a while. Yeah. It was scary, but then at some point you just have to be like, I don't really see this going anywhere. And some guys have been like, well, I thought we had so much fun and we connected really well. And so I think I'm still navigating how to not put out, because I'm not flirty, just you know how I am.
But you're very friendly. So somebody might take that the wrong way, which I'm opposite. So I would be like, they might think I'm a mean girl when I'm really not. I'm just I'm just not going to give them the time of day if I'm not interested. Right. But you're nice, and you'll go on a date. And
I think sometimes I'm too nice.
Yeah, you're too nice.
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yes. Yeah. Which is nice.
But I mean, dating gets old really fast.
So how do you find these dates? What are you guys doing out there to go on a date? I mean, what does somebody have to do?
I mean, it'd be awesome if it could be organic. You introducing me to somebody that worked out. You have introduced me to people before, and I mean, they're awesome guys, but just not for me. Sure. Obviously nobody's for me because I'm still single, and it'll be 4 years in January.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
I always think that it was just maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy. So are you on any dating apps?
I kind of go off and on.
So what apps are out there these days?
I've been on this one I just heard about. It's called Luxy, and I don't know. It's good and bad. Mm-hmm. It tells you their profession, where they live, but it's not stuck within your state,
Salt
in your little
Utah.
area. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's nice, but then at the same time, it's everybody else. It's out of the country. So I don't know.
So is this a question for you? Is just that Tinder, is that a hookup site?
I've never been on Tinder, and I will never be on Tinder.
Do you know if it's just a hookup?
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
I've heard it is, but
I just wondered,
I think I've heard of a couple of people that met their husbands, even my age, I'm 46, that met their husbands on Tinder, but I don't know if their value system is the same as mine.
I know, because I guess millennials and the Gen Z generation, it seems like they're all about just hooking up and not having serious commitment.
Yeah.
As to our generation, you ask on a date, you're talking on the phone. We didn't have, when we were in high school, have cell phones.
It was all organic.
Everything
for sure.
was organic, and which was amazing, which I still love. I'd rather talk on the phone.
Oh, I would
get to
rather
know somebody, because text you could shoot over a text and it take it the wrong way, and you not
for
totally
sure.
mean that because you don't know.
I like to text too if I have something important to say, because I'm not very good with my words. So I'd rather think out my sentence and then write it out, read it, and think, does this make sense? But then they could still read it wrong. Oh yeah, as far as dating apps, I tried Luxy. It's kind of cool because it gives you their job, and I mean I'm sure they could lie, but their income.
Sure.
And then, but then I, I put in my income and what you want. All of them ask you what you want, what you're looking for. So Hinge and Mutual are like ones people
use. Is Mutual an LDS site or no? Or is that just
I think it's like more Christian people site? That are like religious, especially for Utah, are on there. I don't know what it's like outside of Utah or if it's big. I don't know. But, and then Facebook dating, that one's nice because it will show you what mutual friends you have. Like a few, it won't show you all of them, but it'll be like mutual friends with so-and-so. And for me, that's great because then I can look and be like, okay, what kind of a lifestyle do they live? Is that somebody I might want to date or whatever? And then there's also, what else? Oh, Bumble. I tried Bumble, but I don't like it because like the girl has to like the guy first. I don't want to be the one to like him first because I'm not sure. I'll be like, I don't know, maybe. And I don't want to put it out there and be like, oh, I like you, and then
are you
change
scared
my mind.
Of rejection? Is that why? No.
I just don't want to like tell somebody I'm interested and then talk to them once and then not be interested because then I feel like it's on me.
Oh, really?
But if they like me first, then I can, match back, and you don't really know until, well, actually you do. I guess some of them will tell you who's liked you or what they think your best matches are, but.
So actually, not to cut you off, but good. I just did. Tina and I actually go to dinner sometimes, and I'm like, hey, come on, let's see one of your apps or whatever dating thing she's on. And I'm like, let me look at these guys who are interested. And it's actually pretty fun, and it's very comical.
It's very entertaining.
Very entertaining because you get these guys who are just like with their shirts off or certain things.
They'll be like laying on a bed, like trying to be sexy. I will never click on those.
Yes, so like don't guys do that. Out there, if you're listening, don't send those kind of pictures. Or
that's
also,
so gross.
Not to be gross, but don't send the D pictures. No woman likes it. I promise.
No, they don't.
I promise you. So
even if they say yes, they're probably just not brave enough. I've actually never had anybody send me one. Ever
since you ever dating? Oh my gosh, I've even had guys who have sent like DM me that I found out that were married, and I'm not like that at all.
No.
You send me a picture, and I am like, Jeremy, oh my gosh, come and see this. Like I couldn't believe it. Like my kids are like, no way. But I've had like 2 or 3 people.
Guys will say stuff
that do that.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
And you're open with your husband about it, which is great.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's disgusting. And so it's just like...
nobody wants those.
I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm married,
also,
and why are you sending pictures of your junk,
Not to be mean, but I'm 46, and I get so many like 20-something-year-olds or 30, like early 30s. I kind of think it's a trend. But
well,
I'm telling
all the
you
young guys, all the young guys want to get with the old, like... girls like our age.
It's crazy.
I don't know what it is.
It's crazy, but I think anybody, for me, I would prefer to date somebody that's older than I am. Or like my same age, not necessarily younger, but then probably not more than...
I do the 5 or 7 years, I think.
Yeah, I'd say 5 to 7 years older. She goes younger, but I don't.
No, I don't go anyway.
She doesn't. I mean, she suggests to me. She doesn't go anywhere.
I get these messages. Well, I thought you were married. I thought this was more of a uplifting. I promise
that's funny. I'm sorry. She doesn't do that. But I mean, when it comes to me and dating, she always says. 7 years younger.
I think over that, your maturity, your mindset is so much different.
Yeah.
Like if you're...
Well, and you're in a different generation too. Like you can't talk about...
certain things.
Like music or movies or whatever.
And then if you're going on double dates or you're having people over, it's like, okay, the spouse, is out of place because here's all these 30-year-olds or... and you're 50, it's like, that would be awkward, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But you're just on a whole different level. And so.
I agree.
I don't know. But yeah, that's crazy. So, usually tell our listeners a little bit about when you're dating, do you like go out with like 5 different guys? Do you date,
Oh, I haven't.
Like at a time, or if you go on a different date, every week or a different day?
There's been times where I'm like, I just, at first I kind of started off slow. I didn't date for quite a few months after I got divorced. Probably I got divorced basically like January of 2020, right before COVID. And then I started probably dating October that year. Just a little bit here and there. But it was really hard because at first I felt like I was cheating on my ex-husband. Yeah, because it just was different. We'd been married almost 24 years. And I don't know. And my boys all lived with me. That's another thing I was going to say. For me, I hope to find somebody that's their kids are older or like grown. Because none of my kids, I have one kid that lives with me right now, one of my sons, but they're all like grown up. I don't have to take care of them or do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be not and some people don't really care, but.
Well, I'm sure for you, like here in Utah, when you're dating somebody, sometimes you're dating that person that is, I guess, had kids later on in life. So like
common, yeah,
pretty common here in Utah. So
it's all over the board.
It's like our kids are already, out of the house, and then you're dating and you find a guy and you might like him a lot, but then he has like these little kids that are still like in grade school or middle school, and you're like, I don't want to parent, I don't want to have to go through that again. I did that.
But it's hard too, because you want to they're so busy with their kids. It's like they don't have time. And I've realized through this, I used to think my love language was something different than it was. And I think it kind of changes. But I realized I'm a time person. I need somebody's time. And he needs to be a gentleman. I mean, even my boys open my door for me. Like they'll fight over who's going to open my door, and they'll tell me, don't get out of the car until we, and so I think awesome. If my boys can do that, and my boys can come to the door and they can call me, you know what I mean? Talk to me and not just text, then grown adults can do that. And I think a lot of guys, I actually went on a date with this guy, and you never know, am I supposed to sit here and wait? What's he like? You know what I mean? And so we kind of talked, we went to dinner, and a lot of times I'll just get out of the car when we get somewhere, but wait for him to open it when we go back or whatever. And so we talked about it at dinner, because I got out of the car and we went into the food place and we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I really like that my boys open my door for me. And my ex-husband would do that, and he was a really good example for them. And he was like, so you're telling me you want to sit in the chair while I get out of the car and I walk around the car to open your door for you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I don't get it. And I just thought, really? Because he's my age.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So then at that point, I just was like, I just really want to be with somebody that gets it,
And it's funny, because I'm the opposite. So when I was dating Jeremy, he was like that perfect gentleman, type, and I was always used to dating these really jerks, and I was raised in Colorado, so it's a whole different way people date there.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't used to somebody opening my door for me, anything like that. So when he would do that, I'd be like, can you not open the door for me?
So uncomfortable.
So it's so uncomfortable. And now that I'm older, I'm like, man, I wish that, he would do that now. He would never do that.
Well, my ex-husband's mom would be like, don't you dare get out of the car. You just sit in there and wait for him to open your door. If you have to wait till tomorrow, you just keep sitting there.
Oh, how
and I was like, that's horrible, especially when you have kids, your kids are tiny.
Sure.
And the kid's screaming in the back. You're like, no, I'm getting out of the car right now. But I think at some point you have to
sure,
get back to that. And there's a place and a time for everything. But I mean, I hope that guys are good to girls and.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. But as far as dating, more than one person at a time, I've never been in a position, maybe once, where I've been like, I'm just going to date this guy. But then it just I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. But usually if I'm not sure that I'm ready to commit, I won't. And I haven't, because I feel like I have to be really ready to be sure, So for me, I'll just date. I could have a few dates in the week. I could have no dates in the week, but I'll go on dating sites and off dating sites. I'll get on for 2 days and then decide not to get on. It can be exhausting.
Oh, I bet.
And sometimes I'll just start scrolling and I'll be like, okay, I'll do scroll through 46 because I'm 46. So I'll get there and there'll be nobody that I'm interested in. So then I'll be like, oh, I'll go scroll to 100. And then sometimes I'll go to like 300 and be like, forget it. I know.
Yeah,
you just
that's a lot of guys.
My boys are like, you're brutal, Mom.
That's okay, though. It's good to know what you want, and especially if you had a past relationship that didn't work out. You kind of know like what you're looking for this time and what you're willing to not deal with. From your previous relationship.
Well, it's hard too because I think everybody has a type.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a type, and I'll try to get away from that type. I'll just think, okay, I'll date somebody different.
I already know your type, but you tell the listeners what your type is.
I usually like guys that are tall, which I think a lot of girls do, but not too tall. I've realized that 6'3", 6'4" is too tall for me. I'm only 5'2", so for me that's like really tall. But I really like guys that are like 6 feet. But I mean, I've dated some that are pretty close. Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of good guys out there. But I think for me, just like somebody being a gentleman, my intuition's generally pretty good. And so if I feel like something's off, then I just will kind of watch and see what it is that's really getting to me or what I think might be wrong. And I think 99% of the time I've been right about something being off.
Oh, yeah. I think
so. And
that's awesome.
I think the problem is all the guys that I date, like a lot of them are, I hate to say it, like cheaters or, I mean, there's just so many different things, that are hard. But
sure,
for me, like for my mental health and because I feel good, like I go to the gym, and a lot of people our age don't go to the gym or they don't care.
Really?
Like they just don't care about.
Like me, like we stopped going to I stopped going to the gym, and I'm like, we were so good, and then that one time I'm like, and the one time I'm like, no, let's not go, and then the next day I'm not going to go again, and it just gets that way, and now I'm not going at all, but I need to.
Yeah, but you look good, and you've been done awesome. No. So, but I think a lot of guys don't go. Either they're like meatheads, and meaning like that's all they care about, and I don't want that. I don't want somebody that I don't want somebody that's so loves insecure or that I don't
love themselves more than
that
they're
like family relationships are really important to me, I've noticed, and them taking care of themselves. Like you don't have to be like super sexy, but I need to be attracted to you. But at the same time, I want you to take care of your body, because there's some guys like what we call, or like girls, you call them skinny fat. They're just naturally skinny, but they're not really. They're just like don't care about their bodies, and they don't, they just got the lucky end of the draw.
I know, lucky them. Gosh, yeah, I didn't get that gene. I could look at a candy bar and I gain 5 pounds. So
no, you don't.
Yes, I
do. So I think and then religion for me. I know we live in Utah. I grew up in the LDS Church or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, however you want to say it, and to me, I realize that it's important to me that that person at least has a solid background and knows what that's like. We had the same understanding. I think most guys, maybe girls, I don't know, at this point, depending on how long they've been divorced and what they've been through, they're in their, what do they call it? They're like, dang, I can't think of the word, where they're just trying to figure out if they believe in God, or they're just taking like a break from church, or I don't know, I can't think of the word I'm
inactive,
trying to say. No, I mean, they would be inactive, but they're in their I don't know.
They're really they're searching for if it's true or not.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say 80%, and then, I want somebody that's going to go to sacrament meeting with me. You don't have to be, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't know if I want somebody that's like, their goal in life is to be in the bishopric or anything. Yeah. But, I mean, a good guy, like, I'll go to church and see guys like, the bishopric talking, and I'm like, that guy's really awesome. Like, I know that guy because, he's like my friend's husband or whatever, and and I just feel like the value system and just knowing what that's about, and like a belief in Christ, and I think it's important to have that.
I agree. I think that's really important. And when you live in Utah, you do get those Mormons that are like checkbox Mormons. And then you have people like me who are like, I'm going to go home after sacrament. I might see a rated R movie, but please don't think that I'm like this horrible person. Right. And I think that sometimes in our religion, you know, people start looking at like, oh, she watches rated R movies, you know, maybe I don't want to be friends with her. Yeah. You know, it's just like we're all sinners and we're all trying, and
yeah, we all have our different trials.
All different, yeah. So it's like I'm that Mormon where it's like I believe in the church, I go, but yeah, there's like, I'm not Molly Mormon.
I think we're kind of the same. I've been on all the spectrums.
So yeah, it's just like.
But I think too, like, I don't want somebody that's going to judge me or my family, because I have one child that hasn't been to church since he was 15, but he's awesome. Like, he was bullied by people in our neighborhood and at school, and I was just like, you don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to church with those people. And then I have a son that's like a letter of the law. He's one of, like, my parents have 12 grandsons and no granddaughters, and he's the only one that went on a mission. And
that's awesome.
But I mean, if I was him, I don't know if I would have gone, because it was like the people that were helping him get on his mission, that were supposed to turn his papers and stuff, made it really difficult for him, and he still went. And yeah, he's awesome. And then my youngest, he's kind of like the in between, but I think we all kind of like go back and forth. But for me, dating somebody, I don't want somebody that's going to judge, and I don't want somebody that's going to like I don't want anybody that's anti or just like doesn't believe in God, you know.
Yeah, it's finding that like happy medium, you know, like what are you willing to like live with and not. But that's awesome. I think that's great. A lot of people do have that requirement, you know, to have God in their life.
Yeah.
Which that's
awesome.
Awesome.
Really important for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we need to always just remember to be who we are. And I know people get discouraged when you're dating to stop, you know, like you said, you kind of get on the apps and you get off and you're like, you know, I know you and I have conversations all the time where you're like, oh my gosh, you go on all these dates and you're like, I just want to find somebody.
It gets discouraging. I think sometimes I'm like, what is wrong with me? You know? And I know in the beginning, like you get divorced. Like I was married almost 24 years. I got divorced. And at first I was like, it felt like it was wrong. And then I got out of that phase, and then I had to worry about how I felt like my kids felt. And then I was like, do I tell them? You know, I'm going on a date. Do I not tell them? And then I wouldn't really say anything. I'd just be like, okay, I'm going. And then they would feel like I was hiding something. So then I'm like, how do I balance this out? You know, like I want them to know I'm going, but I don't want them, because I think if my parents were dating, that would be weird. You know, that would suck, really. So, I mean, that's hard. You just got to figure out how to balance it. And then some people are like so busy with their kids and their family life that they don't have time for you. Or you find there's the different attachment styles. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but there's like a lot of avoidant people. So you meet them, you think you're going to, you know, you get excited about something, and then they become avoidant. Like they won't call you or text you forever, and then they'll message you and you'll message back, and then they'll wait like 3 days. And yeah,
that's so crazy.
Or people will just text, or I don't know. I think I've had a lot of guys that are just like, oh, we had such a great time and a great connection. How come you don't want to date me? And that gets really uncomfortable too. But that's why I try to just be like, this is how I feel. I don't really see this happening. You know?
Why waste your time? You know. So at this point in your life, you're probably like, when I'm dating, I'm looking for marriage. I am
for sure.
Just dating for the heck of it, to go get a free meal or go, you know, to an activity, or, you know, need companionship, because you have all your girlfriends for that. You know what I mean?
Yep. But have good girlfriends.
Like, so it's, you know,
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of people, guys and girls. I mean, I know mostly guys, but they have never been married, you know, don't have kids. And I think it's nice to have somebody that's that's had kids, or that has kids with good relationships. So that, because there's a different dynamic there that maybe they don't understand, like the love you have for your child and the importance of that. even though some of them have families they're very attached to, but I think some of them, their immediate family they grew up with. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes in those situations, it's just different. And then somebody that's been married, for a while, so they have had different trials in their marriage to kind of, I don't know. So I think it's hard to find somebody that's not a professional single person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's like just all over the board, that can hold a relationship that wants to get married. Because that's what like you said, that's what I want.
Yeah, that's how I would be.
I'm done being single and done being like alone. I mean, you get the holidays, the weekends, just even basically just going home and just being with somebody. And I have my kids and they're great, but there's just something different about companionship. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's why God put, a man and a woman together, is just like to become like one, because I think you need that, both, just two of you, to like keep each other going throughout life. It's your partner.
Yeah. And it does get lonely, and sometimes I'm like, maybe there's something really wrong with me,
No, there is nothing
but
wrong
I'm also kind of very...
You're picky
or
very
selective.
Picky. Yes, very picky.
But I've tried to like go, I've tried to try everything, and I mean, it always just goes back to being like, I think for me, like attraction is a huge thing. But then you got to have the other things to go with the attraction.
Oh, absolutely. Because attraction is only so deep. And then years later, you're like, it's just...
But when you're a kid, you like start attracted.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you just love each other. And then you can both get fat and whatever. Yeah, and you still love each other.
My husband has a dad bod, and I'm okay with that, and I do too. Like, but yeah, you just get comfortable.
But it's just different,
He's my partner. He's the guy that, at night that I could have a stressful day, and I'm like, hey, this is what happened.
And you're safe with him.
And it's just...
So it's different, when you're later like me, you just think, well, if I can choose, then I want to choose somebody that like has a good career and has like plans for the future, and we both want to travel, we both care about God, we both like, I want somebody that's humble. Like, you can be confident, but be humble. And I think sometimes people want to pretend they're confident, but they're actually really insecure and they need validation. That's not the kind of person I want to be with. Like, I would love to be somebody that, if I had a lot of money, I want it to be the kind of money where like nobody knows. And I want to help people and serve people. I don't need people to know if I have money or don't have, you know what I mean? If I had money. So it's kind of just like humble.
That's awesome.
And kind.
That's great.
Chill. I'm super chill.
You are super chill.
And I think it's hard that scares me a lot, because my ex and I never fought. We really didn't. Even though like we had a lot happen and things were hard, but
It's because you're too nice. You are too nice. Oh my gosh.
You tell me that.
I'm like,
I've gotten better.
You need to be a little more bitchy and just like set some rules for these guys.
Some boundaries.
And
I think a lot of guys too, like, I hate because people will say to me, like, especially if I'm in my gym clothes, they'll be like, I don't know, how come your ex isn't with you? Look at your body. And I'm like, I'm not a body. Like, I'm a person, I'm grateful for my body, but I do work out. I try to take care of myself. I do love bacon, cheeseburgers, and fries, and my Diet Coke.
Those are her favorite.
And my popcorn. I'll eat it like a bacon, cheeseburger, and fries every day.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I want to like be a person inside of, who I am. But I need somebody that's kind of chill and sweet, I don't know.
That's awesome. I know you kind of said what you're looking for, but give us some like just bullet point, like these are kind of like my main requirements, but
belief in God, good relationship with family, that's super important. Like, I think my boys are awesome. They are my kids, but they really are. My kids are great, and I think the relationship that they would have with my boys is really important. And the relationship that they have with their family and their ex, because we all go through something, we all have our weaknesses, but my ex and I get along fine. And we don't like talk all the time, or we don't hang out, but there's not problems. And I hope, to like have somebody that, I'm 46. I don't need drama in my life. Yeah. So I'm going for like the drama free.
Yeah. And you always have that respect for your like ex to not talk back about him, which is great, and that just says a lot really about your character. You know, is that
he's probably been way better than I have about like the positivity about me.
I think you're pretty positive.
I try, but I mean, he's a good guy, and we all just have our weaknesses, and I think for us, those just didn't work out for us, and so, but you know, I want somebody that's going to be faithful to me and treat me well, open my door for me, and you know, just good old fashioned chivalry is good.
They always say that's dead, but it's not.
No.
It doesn't have to be.
No. And just somebody that's real. I mean, I think for me the biggest thing is just, I don't know, monogamy and God, family. And then I want to travel. I want to have like I don't want to work for the rest of my life. So hopefully we both have a plan to retire at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So I should have introduced you and then said, tell us a little bit about yourself. So why don't you tell our listeners about you? So if they have somebody out there that, you know, is a brother or some family member or friend that knows that somebody perfect for my Tina. So I want to get her married.
You have to get the approval through Leanne.
But yeah, I have to approve.
And she does like people with hair. I'm okay with bald.
My husband's bald and I love him, but yeah.
Well, for me, you know, when she's picking for me, she's helping me out here.
This is my thing. People always say, like, I always say bald, like, is the difference between, like, guys, usually, like, skinny girls, not fat girls. They could be, like, good looking. Mine's, like, I'd rather have one guy with hair versus not, you know. But I'm married now, but if I was to go back into that field.
But you don't know.
But you don't know.
Because Jeremy had hair when we were kids. Yeah. I grew up with Leanne's husband, like, from the day we were born. We lived on the same street.
And he was hot back then, right?
He was hot. I actually had a crush on him. I was like, oh, I want to date Jeremy. But
yes. And so I'm glad she didn't date him because I got to marry him. And he is bald,
and they're perfect for each other.
Love him. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, love is hard. It's I wanted to read this. It says, finding love is like finding shoes. People looking for good-looking, smart ones, but they end up with the ones that feel comfortable.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Oh yeah, you asked me about me. I was going to say, I already said I'm 46. I have 3 boys. My oldest will be 25 next month. And then I have a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old, all boys. And I own my own house. That's a bonus.
You're a dental hygienist.
I'm a dental hygienist.
And she's starting a business.
Doing some interior design on the side.
So her name's Tina. You'll have to. I'll put her information on my YouTube channel.
My Wingman Wednesday.
Hey, yes, I know. That's what I'm going to be. And actually, too, if you do want to find love, contact me. You can email me. My information's on there. But feel free to contact me and go watch my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, any of the streaming videos. And thank you for watching. Do you want to say anything, Tina, before we leave?
No, thanks for having me, though.
Well, have a great day.